Alright, good morning. I'm going to make a video of making an adventure for Dark Age of Man. This adventure is the adventure that Dell will feature at the convention tomorrow, this weekend. So anybody who happens to be a subscriber that is going to be at that table at the SCARAB convention, this may be spoilers, you will want to not watch this video. Dell is a full-time job and he is a busy man. He will be going directly from work to the convention. So he doesn't have time to do a lot of this, and it's nice of him to, involve me by being able to make these characters for him that I made yesterday, and now the session setup page. We teach this in the book, how we expect you to prep a one-page session prep and play as a naive GM, naive narrator, naive as a presenter. So, again, I'm going to try this. Unfortunately, some keystrokes on my keyboard pause the video, so at any moment the darn thing could pause, so I hope to gosh it doesn't, and I can't actually see if it's recording or not as it records my screen, so I wouldn't know that it's paused, so I hope I don't hit a button that pauses the darn thing. Anyway, so let's go to our book here real quick. Page 33 of our book teaches you how to construct a one-page session. We give a flow of how the adventure should go, but we have the write-up. You should have a setup that expresses exactly what's happening right now, an inciting incident that is shared with the players to launch the session, and then a major dilemma and a minor dilemma that are hidden from the players. They don't know these, but they're things that really need to be dealt with to score a potential repute point for the night. And if they handle these things, of course, it will score them an actual repute and would wrap up, well, not wrap up session, but would achieve some success. They don't ever have to deal with the inciting incident. They don't ever have to deal with a major or minor dilemma. These major or minor dilemmas will haunt them, though, generally, as they're things that they can't necessarily avoid. So, but that doesn't mean they have to solve them to have a successful and fun adventure in session. But if they do manage to handle these, they can score repute as a party, as a group. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. The setup right now. And again, it's very simple, but I thought I would do this. Dale wanted me to do kind of a teaching video while I do this. So right now, my setup. It is spring. It is the spring thaw. Dredgewater is suffering its seasonal flooding. The actual streets are submerged in 6 inches of water. The locals use the boardwalks or wade the water through the streets. It is busy and crowded as everyone is working to seed the summer crops. The fishing yield is increasing, and the river is crowded with fishermen. So that's the setup, right? And then, of course, I can go as far as to say what time it is, but I'm not going to, because Dell may allow the players to introduce their characters, and Dell may actually ask one of the characters to tell me where they're at and what they're doing. So one of our goals in our game is to actually go to a player, and say, Bill, where is John of Dredgewater, and what is he doing right now? And that gives John a chance to set where he's at and what time of day it is, or what's going on. Obviously, when Dell presents that it's spring and they're preparing for summer crop, for the summer crop, etc., those things can't be changed. But John could say, "I'm at home. I am by candlelight. I am working on arrows from my little fishing shack, and it is 9 o'clock in the evening." And a character could actually set the start, right? Okay. So next we need really the most important part, because this is something that really can't escape, right? This section contains the principal reason for action, event, situation when play begins. Now, if the game starts in an in media res, then you would not ask a player where they're at, right? It would not be wise to say, John, where are you at and what are you doing, if you've got an in media res inciting incident. Okay. Inciting incident. So what I'm going to do on this deal, whoops, I think did it change font? And again, my spelling, I'll go through the spell check later. I'm not a great speller, and I'm not a professional writer, so to speak. Inciting incident. So I want to leave it open for Dell to invite a character to set the time and introduce them. So I don't want to set this as like what's happening right this second. So for me, the inciting incident will be something that maybe happened yesterday, right? Yesterday, Mort's men posted warning flyers that Washburn is a thief and land stealer. To aid Washburn is to betray the law, and all who do are enemies of Mort. So basically, they ride in, they start mounting flyers around Dredge, around on the trees around Dredge, the land of Dredge, on boardwalks, etc. I'm sure many of Mort's soldiers would have ripped these down, etc. But yesterday, Mort's men posted warning flyers that Washburn is a thief and land stealer. To aid Washburn is a betrayal. Thank you. Of law, fearing a raid from sea peoples any day now. With the spring floods, rumors of foreign vessels patrolling the river Dredge have many fearing. So I'm having to tiptoe around the keyboard because I don't know what pauses the darn recording. So again, forgive me. With the spring floods, rumors of foreign vessels patrolling the river Dredge have many fearing the raid from sea peoples any day now. Many fearing a raid from sea peoples. There we go. Indeed, 2 Danes have been carousing at Blackleaf Inn and hanging about the proper. There we go. So, potential minor dilemma, we might have Danes spies, right? Are they spies for an impending raid? Question. Okay. Again, when we want to be naive is in our game, but you want to go in with context and something happening. So technically, you are never completely naive when it comes to what the world should be presenting to the players when you start the game. The setup should get the players in a mindset. The inciting incident should set a tone. Hidden from them is what will be a problem, major and minor dilemma. So Dell now has to show, not tell, how these threats have impacted the crops, how it's disrupted what's going on, what is he seeing, and the minor dilemma, how that's affecting the fishermen and how that's affecting, right? Dell is going to be responsible for showing this and maybe cueing the characters to look into these Danes or cueing the characters to stop Van Mort's men from harassing and bullying, right? Okay, pretty simple. Now, the other big piece, and again, this should be 2, so we're going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to go ahead and shrink this back down to 12, because I do want to try to get everything on one page, which is what we recommend. Now, the RSC, 3d6, the bread and butter of our naive narrator construction, right, is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is the random seeds, which must be rolled dynamically throughout session, and these are meant to be vague, right? So, because it is spring, and it's something we feature in a lot of our RSCs, we always have a big, we have flood. This would be a catastrophic flood, and because it is so in the extremes, it would be a catastrophic flood. So Dell knows that it isn't just a flood. If he rolls a 3, it's a dredge water world changing flood. This is biblical, right? Biblical flood. 4. Fish dead. Okay, that again, it's supposed to be vague. What does that mean? Fish dead. He'll have to decipher that or come up with what that means. 5. Let's pull up the book because I'm gonna get into some lore here. Really mess with Dell's head because I know Dell doesn't like using lore. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if he does or not, but Osbert. No. Where's she at? The Queen. Queen Osbert Lannister. Here we go. So I'm gonna start digging into some of our lore. Or I'll just do this, easier this way. That way, Irish poachers. There we go. So that implies the Queen's Irish soldiers have crossed the borders and they're poaching on Lord Washburn's land. Okay, flood, fish dead, Irish poachers. Let's make something positive here at the most common, 10. Valuables discovered. That's probably misspelled, but that's okay. I'm going to put 4 higher. That'll mess with. What does that mean, right? Dell will have to mess with that. 4 higher. What does that mean? Okay. Body found. Again, you want it vague. Dell can try to quickly extrapolate what that means, right? 18. Let's go over here. Let's make this another world changer. Dragon. Again, I'll just leave it dragon. All right. So these are epic. Werewolf. It's another epic one, right? How Dell presents werewolf, right? All kinds of ways he can present what that means. Evidence of a werewolf, an actual werewolf, right? I'm going to put a pretty stout problem here at number 12. Troll at river's edge, right? In other words, a troll has swum himself down the river and shows up at Dredge doorstep. Okay, 13. Let's find a good one here. Noble man robbed. Okay. How about this? Merchant robbed, right? Can be a nobleman or whatever. 14. See people's longboat. Let Dell make of that what that is. See people's longboat. Yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to continue to put some dangerous stuff in here. Vampire about. So this is pretty tense. We've got a troll, which could show up pretty easily at 12. Sea people's longboat. Let Dell decide again quickly what that might mean. A vampire, a werewolf, a dragon here at the end, and then 16. Pagan revolt. Woo! Holy cow! That's not cool. All right, 6. Potential plague family. Don't know. Is it a plague? Is it not a plague? What does that mean to the family? All right, 7. Morts, men, nope, let's not do that. We already have Mort's men mentioned already, so Dell can use that anytime, right? Introducing Mort's men. So let's say, let's go back to our lore. Let's go back up here to the land of Dredge. We want to look at, let's do Sarah. Sarah wants to hunt. Okay, and 8. What would this one? This would be a good one. So we've got flood. That's catastrophic. Fish dead. Irish poachers. Potential plague family. Sarah wants to hunt. A body found. That could be a murderer. That could just be a drowning. It could be evidence of the vampire. It depends. Valuables discovered. That could be a positive. For hire can be a positive, right? There might be a posting to hire one of the players, or there might be a call. Washburn might call for the local diplomat, and he has work for him. So the for hire can be anything Dell can contrive. Troll at River's Edge, and I'm gonna further define this. This is more than we normally need to do. Gold Leaf Inn. This just implies maybe it comes out of the river at the Gold Leaf Inn, which is on the river. The Gold Leaf Inn actually sets on the river. It's raised, so when it floods, it's on stilts, and when it that kind of thing. So the flooding doesn't affect Gold Leaf Inn, but this troll can certainly rise itself from the river. Merchant robbed. Sea People's Longboat, vampire, pagan revolt, werewolf, dragon, and what would be really dynamic? That's not too. Palisade repairs. Okay. So maybe Lord Washburn calls to local farmers, local men or women who have nothing better to do to get to work on repair of the palisade from the winter rot and etc. etc. So, does it sound exciting? It's not meant to. This is meant to spark something in Dell's head, and he is meant then to try to put it into context of what the players are currently doing, and from that live in session, it's just more. It's like ingredients that go into a soup. What does time mean? Time means nothing until you drop it in the soup, and it adds flavor to the soup, and then you add, cumin in and etc. And now we've got, but just the spice time by itself is not right. These are the pieces of the recipe that cook up the stew, right? And that stew, they should be then funneled in, mixed into that recipe while the players are already engaged in things, right? And we're going to call this spring time in Dredgewater. Springtime in Dredgewater. How about that? Bye. There we go. Pretty simple, right? Setup, inciting incident. So let's go through this. Let's go ahead and do our spell checker. Dredgewater, of course, is not going to be in our spell checker because it is fictional, right? So let's ignore that. Boardwalks. Oh, wow. See? Let's see what I get. Boardwalks. Change. Flyers. Oh, yeah. Right. Change. Washburn is ignore. Thief and land stealer. Yeah, that's, did I spell that wrong or something? No, right? Is a thief and land. Yeah, land stealer, that makes sense. It's jargon, right? It'd be jargon that these guys might scratch on a wanted poster, etc. Washburn, ignore. Preparations, change. Patrolling, geez, Jason. Danes, now that is purposely misspelled. We in our world spell Danes this particular way, right? So that is part of our rules. Carousing, right? Change. Dredgewater. So all those guys that can spell better than me wince when they watch me type up this stuff, I know. Irish, of course, is our own word for Irish. So, boom. Valuables. There, we got an E in there we don't need, right? They're typical. And Dredgewater, springtime in Dredgewater is good. Boom. All right, so best it can be. So, setup. It is a spring thaw. Dredgewater is suffering its seasonal flooding. The actual streets are submerged in 6 inches of water. The locals use the boardwalks to wade the water through the streets. It is busy and crowded as everyone is working to seed the summer crops. The fishing yield is increasing and the river is crowded with fishermen. Yesterday, Mort's men posted warning flyers that Washburn is a thief and land stealer. To aid Washburn is to is to betray. That's why it was, see, I need to read my own stuff, is to betray the law. To aid Washburn is to betray the law, and all who aid him are enemies of Mort. We will return to enforce the law. Due to Mort's threats, many locals are not working, and some are even causing more trouble by bullying the local laborers. There is disruption in crop preparations, delivery of seeds, and continual harassment of the serfs. Further slows the work progress. This is slowly the work. This is slowly the work of This slows. This is slowing the work and jeopardizing the planting of the season seeds, crops. The minor dilemma. With the spring floods, rumors of foreign vessels patrolling the river dredge have many fearing a raid from sea peoples. Indeed, 2 Danes have been carousing at Blackleaf Inn and hanging about Dredgewater proper. Are they spies for an impending raid? And then there it is, our RSC. And that is it, folks. Now, in our book, we've added pre-generated characters, and we've added some creatures. Like, for instance, if we had a special monster that's not in our creature section, we would add a second page that would have known NPCs, important people, or if I reference in Major Dilemma that a Roman is in town, then I might make that Roman and give him a name. If I have in my Minor Dilemma a creature that's not in the section, or even if it is in our creature section, then I would put it with these notes so it would be handy, right? So there you have it. That is Springtime in Dredgewater for the SCARAB Convention, and I'll actually put down here session, or I'll put SCARAB session January 12th through the 15th, 2024. There we go. And I will save that, and we are done. Thank you for watching this. I hope it wasn't too boring. I'm going to save it. I'll put it in our final projects, and this will be SCARAB session. And then I'll save it as a PDF so Dell can just easily print it out and take it with him. Boom. And again, it'll go in here, PDF. And there you have it, folks. Thank you for watching. I do hope this was enlightening or at least interesting to watch. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.